Good evening, everyone. I am Angel from Lima in Peru, and this is my channel, Reading Means Life. I feel so sorry for having abandoned you for about 3 months. Okay, it was a really long absence. Well, I promise not to do it anymore, and I am recording this video in order to invite you to the International Book Fair in my city, Lima. This is the 23rd edition, and there are 6 days left. Well, virtually 5 days left until the 5th of August in the Proceres Park in the district of Jesus Maria. This fair has become the third most visited in Latin America, and well, I have bought seven books. I went today and also yesterday, and well, I want to show you some of the books that I have started reading on the bus. A Secret History of Peru in its first and its second volume by Fred Rohner, about many myths that we Peruvians persist in repeating to the next generations. And well, these two volumes are fighting those lies or those myths, as I told you, that we Peruvians don't reflect on and just repeat without thinking so much. The Catholic University of Peru, there are two books. The Perfect in the Spanish of my city, in the Spanish of Lima, how it has varied or changed in situation of linguistic contact by Margarita Jara Yupanqui. That book perhaps is kind of technical. To be honest, I haven't read it yet. I bought it yesterday. It is really important for me because I'm a teacher, and because I teach English, I notice how difficult or confusing it might be for my students to say sentences like in the present perfect and in the past simple, like I went or I have been, I studied or I have studied, and using when. For example, yesterday. I have visited my mom yesterday, or I visited my mom yesterday. And that book might explain that because that could show that confusion or that variation that we Limeños find in our language. The second one is, well, that is a euphemism, I think. Internal armed conflict, something like that, which is terrorism in our country in the 1980s and 1990s, even now, and gender, how that angle, how that perspective, okay, the gender perspective, it prevails in this book because it shows testimonies, it shows memories of women who were victims of terrorism here. This is a collection of different articles edited by Mercedes Crisostomo Mesa. Well, in my country nowadays, not only in my country but internationally, we are talking about feminism. If this is something fair, what they are looking, what they are seeking, or if that is just a kind of being fanatics, right? So, I consider that this book might contribute to the debate of gender studies in my country. The Institute of Peruvian Studies, IEP, has published this book, Historia Mínima de Arequipa. Well, I might translate it as Minimal History of Arequipa. Uh, a panoramic view from pre-Incan societies until the very present. So it is really complicated. It's very difficult to condense the history of a country, or well, in this case, a Peruvian region. But the historians Mario Mesa, who was my teacher at the University of San Marcos and who I admire a lot, and Mr. Victor Condori have managed to or have achieved that goal, which is giving us a view of different aspects of the society in Arequipa. Not only the social aspect, but the economic, the history, which to a great extent are connected. We cannot analyze them separately, right? So I really, really recommend this book. The woman who sold it to me told me that it was going to be presented, okay, in a conference in the city of Arequipa, which is the second biggest city in Peru, and the department, the Arequipa region is the second most important of in our country, financially speaking. The University of San Marcos, my alma mater, I don't know if that is how you say it in English, has published this very, very interesting book, Mexicas and Incas, Aztecs and Incas, right? Comparative studies of the governors of Mesoamerica, the cultural area between Mexico and Central America, and the Andes by the scientist, the social scientist Eduardo Matos Moctezuma and Luis Millones. Unfortunately, they were not in the conference. I went to the conference in which that book was presented, was published, right? And well, I haven't read it yet. I bought it 2 hours ago, and well, so I really, really admire that man, Eduardo Matos Moctezuma. He's a very famous archaeologist of Mexico. He was in charge of the Templo Mayor project in his city, and also the anthropologist Luis Millones. So I had never read in just one book a comparison between the two most important empires in pre-Hispanic America. And finally, Crisol, which is a very, very famous library in my country, has published this. I I suppose that this is a Peruvian version of those. I don't even know how to say that in English. The official name is like good night stories for rebel girls, something like that. In Spanish it is cuentos de buenas noches para niñas rebeldes. Well, in this case is once upon a time a Peruvian woman. Había una vez una peruana. 59 biographies of Peruvian women who contributed to the art, to the science, to the politics of my country, from fashion designers to painters, mathematicians, politicians, journalists, feminists, even mythical figures like the first two women who appeared. We don't know if they existed, they probably didn't. Mama Oclio and Mama Waco. So I really, really like this book. I am thinking of giving that to my nieces. Of course, this book is not necessarily for girls. It might be for the general public because unfortunately, you know very well that women have been eclipsed by men in history. So that could be very, very interesting. Not only Peruvian women appear there, but also foreigners who spent most of their lives here in my country. Well, that is all. I promise to show you my reviews, my comments, my recommendations, tell you how well those books were written in my opinion. And again, I want to invite you to the International Book Fair in the district of Jesus Maria until the 5th of August. Well, that was all for now. Bye bye.